That was scary.
Hang on. You're on the way. Just starting now.
Just video?
I've got it.
Take the video off. Take the video off. Video off video?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good. Good news. Thanks for coming. Let's see. I recognize somebody. Couple of people there.
There's Michael. It's Michael.
Yeah.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how you going, Kelly? Hey, Robin, how are you?
Pretty good.
Wow.
Just got out of the shower, so I'm a little, I look like a wet squirrel. Gonzalo. Are you there, Gonzalo? Okay. So Diego and Alonso and John Detman, have we met before?
No, I haven't met. Hi, how are you?
Hi. And also Johan.
Yes.
Where are you?
France. I'm from France. Yeah.
Saturday
But
morning.
in
Saturday morning.
good one. In
Where?
south of France,
Okay.
Where?
South
Aix-en-Provence,
X. Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
near to Marseille. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, yeah.
Beautiful.
We visited there for a few
Oh.
days last December.
Ah, you like it?
X is beautiful, no?
Yeah,
Very
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and Mark
But
Lambert.
I'm from Paris. I'm from Paris.
Okay. When did you move down?
So 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right
and,
on.
it's great.
Glad to hear.
We're just getting used to living in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Struggling with the phone system and the banking system and all of that, you know. A little tough for
I love Paris.
Yeah, right on, man.
Mm.
We live over in the 16th.
Okay.
Yeah, we got here last May, and we're planning on moving maybe to the outside of the city, get a house somewhere outside.
Mm-hmm.
City is a little intense for us.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
A lot of motorcycles in Paris, man.
Mm.
But we're happy to be here.
It's a good city. For music, it's great for music.
Yes. And as soon as we stop traveling, we're going to get out there and hear some. We've heard a little bit, but, you know, my schedule has been such that I've been on the road off and on.
Yeah.
So it's just been a little hard for us to settle down, you know, but should happen soon. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, and
All right.
yourself?
Pretty good. Again, the traveling thing, we've been doing a lot. We actually leave for the United States tomorrow.
Well,
And we'll be over there for 2 weeks. I have just a couple of shows, but we're visiting my family in Northern California for a few days, which is nice, you know. And we're also going to Nashville for a minute just to kind of pack up some last things that we left behind that we need here in Paris. So taking care of some business and then we'll be back. So guys, anything that you want to talk about? Anybody got any particular, questions, musical questions you'd like to delve into? John? Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. No, there was a couple. I was watching one of your one of the Zoom meetings, I think last week, and somebody brought this up as well about the new
Great.
PRS guitar.
Oh,
Which is looks great. And I sort of saw you doing the Phrygian mode lesson
yeah.
in 74 with that. And I was just wondering how that guitar is going for you now. What do
Well,
you think?
Man, the reason I've gravitated towards Paul is the playability of his instruments. And, wow, I've been through so many guitars over many, many years. And in particular, I was always trying to find that perfect Les Paul,
Yeah.
And I've had vintage instruments, many, and new Les Pauls, that I bought right out of the store, that I like. They're always kind of the reissue type, 57, 58, 59 reissue type. And there's always something, about every instrument that's quirky. I don't know if you all would agree with that, but even for me, my Telly, my 60 Telly, that guitar has been the most reliable instrument for me. But not because it's a Telecaster, It's because of the way it plays, the way the way the notes sound. You could find that, it would be a different color, with a Les Paul or with a Stratocaster, but really it's just that playability for me that's the main thing. And so Paul's guitars for me, just I've tried many of them, and it's the playability that I like about the instrument the most. And of course we've designed it to fit my body, the weight and the aesthetic things, the headstock. I never liked that little Paul Reed Smith headstock. So I don't think many people do. But so I had to make it bigger. And that was the problem for me. It just looked small. It looked like the guitar didn't finish out there to the left, And so making the headstock bigger made it aesthetically more pleasing to me. And I would say that the pickups for me are almost there. And this is something that I've done in so many of my guitars. I've replaced the pickups. And I don't know if we can get there with Paul exactly, but I didn't get there with, with Fender, and I didn't get there with Les Paul. You know what I mean? Or I did. Something was good, that I liked. So there's a little bit of a journey going on there, And to me, the guitar is there. I'm not sure about the pickups being completely there yet for me. But once again, every guitar I've ever owned, man, there's some kind of a journey going on there, where you have to make little tweaks. And physically, even like the tailpiece, I love the tailpiece on the Les Paul, but I'm experiencing a little bit of tension. And when I go to Paul, he'll go, oh, okay. And he'll go tweak, 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 problem solved. So I think guitars are a bit of a journey, for all of us. I'm into the guitar, I'm playing the guitar, and I'm going to stick with this guitar and dial it in. And I think it'll take a little bit of time, but it's absolutely doable.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So
thank you. Yeah,
really nice.
Kelly.
Does it sort of straddle sort of the Telecaster and the Gibson sort of world for you a bit, do you think?
I gave up on that.
Right.
And so for me, the way that I work with that is you know, the output of the pickups. And just, you know, finding that balance, you know, it's not too dark, it's not too bright, you know. So yeah, there's no such thing as the Les Paul Telecaster, you know, it doesn't exist, you know.
Yeah.
You can trust me
Well,
on this one.
Well, I hope it's on the market soon.
Well, I think they're releasing it September 30th.
Right.
Yeah,
It'll be a while before it gets down here, though.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But I think you can order them directly
Yeah.
from PRS, no?
I don't know. I haven't had a look. Anyway,
I
I've got
would-
enough guitars.
What's that?
I've got enough, really. I should
Guitars?
just be happy with the ones I've got. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, always looking for that one guitar, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of accomplishes everything. And I as long as I've been doing this, I don't think it exists. You have to just kind of go, all right.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to play a lot of guitars or a few, or I'm playing this guitar. And I keep hoping to settle on that one. Just this guitar. Thought the Telecaster might be it, you know. Yeah, there's things that I need for this other thing I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
The guy for me who has dialed that shit in the best is Mike Landau.
Right.
I don't know any guitar player. I haven't heard any guitar player who has as broad of a mastery of the sound spectrum, you know, out of one guitar. And he does it with pedals, of course. And he asked me once, you know, we played together quite a bit with the Renegade Creation Band. And he asked me once, he says, do you have your guitar full open all the time? Like tones all the way up, volume all the way up? I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I always have something. There's a pedal is tuned in, or the volume is backed off, or he's working with the tone controls. He's always doing something to make up, you know, for whatever the loss might be for this or that. And he just, over years, of course, but he had it pretty dialed in a long time ago, actually. And it changes from time to time, but, you know, he just sat and worked and worked and worked on it, you know.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I want a guitar and an amplifier that do it. And I think I'm asking too much of the instruments, you know. So I'm trying to learn how to relax with all of that stuff. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Welcome to the club, you know.
Yeah.
How about musical things? Ganzu, you got something for me? Oh, can't hear you, man. I can't hear you.
And now?
There.
Yes. I have started I think that on February to learn with this book.
Yeah.
And nothing to say. And I think that is a good way to start to learn about the pentatonic scale and how to use. And I could use some phrases that you put in the book in the last weekend in a jam.
Oh.
Yes, I could put in a real situation.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. I'm learning step by step, okay, with the dojo and with this book. And
beautiful.
I have started to use in a real situation that is not only when I am playing at home, okay.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that is it's good. It's satisfactory.
Fantastic.
Yes.
This would be my dream, is that, is that this stuff goes into practice like that.
Yes.
You're-
I'm happy for that, and I don't know if I imagine that in the future I'm going to improve my technique, my knowledge, but at the moment it's good. I'm happy with the dojo. The I learned in with the dojo, and I'm learning also with the book.
Awesome. Do you like transcription? Is that something you appreciate?
Yes.
Yeah, tablature, that all helps.
Yes. The only problem that I have with the book is that you play at your normal time, okay,
Mhm.
and it's faster to me, okay, and I have to listen a lot of times to
Yeah.
get the sound exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's part of the exercise too.
exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Do you practice scales?
Yes, I'm focusing with the minor pentatonic, the major pentatonic also. I with the book I enter the blue note, the sixth note, okay, and I think that if you put all together is the Mixolydian, could be.
Well, the Mixolydian is,
Yes, the pentatonic with the blue note and the sixth note is like the Mixolydian.
I don't know. When you say the blue note, you mean the flatted fifth
Yes.
and the major sixth. Yeah. The Mixolydian mode is basically like if you played the Mixolydian mode key of G, or
Yes.
yeah, like G7.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's the C major scale starting on the 5th degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think so. What you're describing, pentatonic. So like if you played a minor third,
Yes.
fourth,
Fourth. Yes.
flatted fifth,
Yeah.
fifth.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a mode. I think that's kind of the pentatonic scale with the major sixth and the flatted fifth.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
I am trying to understand all, okay, and
Yeah.
one of my thoughts was maybe if you put all together is like a Mixolydian scale.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wrong, okay, but I am learning.
Yeah, so the Mixolydian mode, if you're playing in the key of A, it's the Mixolydian mode of D. So it's the D major scale starting on A. This is one thing. Sometimes I think people don't really dial in that major scale. Just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in the key of D, right? D, E, F sharp, G, A, C sharp. No. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So that's the scale, but you start on A, below the D. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. That's the Mixolydian mode in the key of D, which is A7, the 5 chord, because you're starting on the 5th degree. Anybody know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that's, yes,
Sorry, yeah, like you said that in that lesson, the Phrygian lesson, you were saying about Mixolydian and the Phrygians. Is it third? Is it? Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about all those modal things, are you thinking in a Phrygian scale, or are you just thinking of that relative major scale of that when you play?
Well, that's a good question because they are identical.
That's right.
So it's nice. You have, it's ideal, certainly, you know, to keep the mode in mind, you know. You're starting on the third degree and that's your root. That's now the root, you know.
Yeah.
Sonically, that you're referencing that sound, you know. And you can play everything. Shall we go into this a little bit? Okay, let me grab my guitar.
He's just muted. He's just gone somewhere.
Get your guitar back.
It's very difficult to show much here because of the screen, you know. But can you hear it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So when I play that song, well, there's a song. I think I demonstrated the song as well, right? It's called Sentimental Mode. And so I wrote it, I started it as an exercise, you know, in working with the Phrygian mode. I'm going to write a song that's in the Phrygian mode. Like I'm always saying this, you give yourself an assignment. So I gave myself an assignment and I wrote one of my favorite songs I've ever written, you know? So it's like, okay, Phrygian mode. So if you just take the thirds, so it's an E flat minor, right? But it's the third mode of B. So you have that sound. Oh, that's your root, you know. You can play an E flat minor triad, right? Which is the 3 chord of B, right? But you really want to have that tone in your, you know, as your center, your sonic center. And you play a different way. And it kind of brings out that Spanish kind of quality, right? But it's B. Three chord of B. So I started with the triads, and I'm like thinking, you know, let's not try to be Paco de la Chia here, you know. I'm a blues guitar player. So I started with the thirds and just playing. That's the beginning of the song. 1, 2. These are all just triads in the B major scale, you know? That's the minor 6 chord of B. So I started with that A flat minor to B to E flat. Whoops. And you should be able to play them all. You know? So I just did a rhythm and blues thing, you know? If we did that in the key of B, it would be it's just 4, 3, 2, 1, you know, in the key of B. but you keep that E flat as your root in the sound. So when you, it's all just the triads out of the B major scale. So you really want to know the major scale, and you want to be able to harmonize it, you know, at least the thirds. And just ask yourself to hear it, you know, don't let it be here. Listen to it, you know. And then, of course, you want to be play them all over the guitar, you know? So that's absolutely all that I'm doing. I'm just using the triads and the major scale of B and keeping that E flat as my sound, you know, because that's that cool sound of the mode. Miles Davis, I think that was his favorite mode. And Sketches of Spain, you know, it's all over Sketches of Spain. And that's all that Miles Davis was doing. Absolutely. Miles was a very basic player. He understood this very basic harmony. He knew a lot of shit, but as a player, when he played, this is what he's doing. This is exactly what he's doing. And then just do it. Fool with it, because you can't make a mistake. As long as you're just playing the scale, you can't make a mistake. So just play the scale, you know? This is how I learned, for real. It's just like you do with the pentatonic scale. You just play it, yeah? You know, well, you know, that's all I'm doing. I call it finger painting. I just take the notes and I just kind of go like this, you know. And then rhythmically, you know, you can do things with it rhythmically. Again, very simple things. You don't have to do anything special. Something that you like, you know, or something that you heard, you know. You liked a rhythm, you know. So I just take these rhythms that I like, you know. Do da 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 dee down. Pentatonic scale, right? And I'm in it. I'm playing the shit out of that thing, you know. I'm getting down with that scale. That's it. So, and that song, Sentimental Mode, again, I love it. It's really, honestly, one of my favorite things I've ever written. And I kind of lost my thought there. I'm sure I can get it back. But, oh yeah, in the writing of it, I was it's like, do not leave this B major scale. Play only the triads of the B major scale. Just keep it real simple in writing the song. So the whole song is Phrygian mode, except for one chord. And when that chord happens, it's like this, bam, it has this release quality, you know? So I'll show you what I mean. Do the best I can here. So the song is, E major, I haven't played this in a while. That's the chord. That's the only chord that leaves the Phrygian mode, and it's like it steps up. First chord is E. Oh, you know, so it goes up, it lifts, right? This is the way I think. What am I doing? What happened here? Let's see. E flat 7. So that's not Phrygian mode either. 2 chords. And then now this was just an arpeggio that I made up using fifths. Shit. So anyway, you know, all of that is, the melody is Phrygian mode, it's B major scale, you know, and triads. So it's the E major triad there with the 5th of E flat. E flat minor 7. E triad with the flatted 5th, which is the 5th of E flat. E flat minor 7. Sorry. Right? E flat minor triad. E major 7. So I'm just playing notes out of the scale. I use the triads, you know. The triads are an immediate melody, right? Do da da, you know, it's a melody. So you need think musically, you know. Do da da, that's a beautiful thing, you know. And I'm just using the scale and the triads, and I'm creating a melody out of it. It's all B major 7, E flat in the root. Have I said too much?
Not at all, no.
Okay. Yeah, that was a real, again, like I just gave myself an assignment. Write a song using the E flat, you know, using the Phrygian mode. So it's interesting when you say key, right? So this is not the E flat Phrygian mode. This is the B Phrygian mode, right?
Right.
Thought you were about to say something there, John.
Oh, I was just getting, I just like the way you're saying that. Like, it's not the E Phrygian mode. Like,
No.
people say E Phrygian,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but it's not. It's the B Phrygian mode,
It's the B
the
Phrygian
third
mode.
mode of that major scale. Right? So
Yeah.
it can
So
be
it's
confusing.
what?
It can be confusing, can't it?
Yes.
Hmm.
But it's like what I like to say, like, you know, nobody says blues in C, Mixolydian mode.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, you say blues in G.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
blues in G, you know, it's blues in C, Mixolydian mode.
Hmm.
And the thing about the blues is it's G minor pentatonic, you know, right?
Yeah.
So that's the savior where the blues is concerned. But if you play a G7 chord and you play the scale that runs through the G7 chord, you just played C major starting on the 5th degree.
Hmm.
This is why theory should come second, in my opinion, which it did for me, you know. I mean, I heard the scale, figured out the scale. It's like, well, what's the scale here? You know, G7. No, it's a flatted seventh. That's the scale. You should know it. In the key of, quote, key of G. And I used to call it the G7 scale because I didn't know what else to call it, you know. You say G7th, it's a flat 7. So for years, I called it the G7 scale because I didn't know what else to call it. And then one day I went, it's the C major scale, starting on G. Holy shit. It's like, that's, I guess, you know, I don't remember, somebody must have told me, like, oh yeah, that's the Mixolydian mode. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
But seriously, I had already been working with people, and I didn't know that. But I knew the sound, you know, I found the scale. Okay, I guess that's the G7 scale, you know. So yeah, it's the Mixolydian mode in the key of B. 3rd degree.
Phrygian.
Yeah. What we're doing here. Yeah. And then I treat it just like I did the pentatonic scale. I know the scale. It's just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Starting on mi.
Yeah, right.
Which I can't do. Mi, do, re, mi, fa, so. I can't do it.
Sorry, my wife's coming in.
Hello.
Yes, I saw. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Man, that's quite a studio you got going back there.
Oh, it's just our downstairs room.
It's very
Yeah.
messy.
Of course.
I'd like to clean it. But, you know.
So Diego, what do you think, man? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, maybe first, express my gratitude for you to making time to be with us.
Thank you.
Personally, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And second, yeah, it's something that you were talking about just now that kind of caught my attention. And you were talking about how you composed this song in B Phrygian, but then you went out and chose a chord that was outside the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering if you can explain something about how do you actually find that chord outside that kind of introduce this big impact, big effect in the song? How do you actually get to that?
I'll tell you. I knew what I wanted, or I felt, the melody goes, da 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 da, and I wanted, da, da, da. That's what I wanted. I'm pretty sure that F is the first chord I played, that F minor 7. And then I went, wow, that's outside the Phrygian mode, man. I'm breaking my rule, And then you go, great, who cares? Don't be locked in. Allow your creativity, and your sense of music to go. But what I probably did, I don't remember, a couple of years ago, what I probably did was tried a few other things as well. I probably tried a chord or a couple of chords that were in the Phrygian mode with that note on top. Because it just felt good to keep that. It just felt right. So what I do is try a whole bunch of chords. That's what I do. I know the feeling that I want. This is the way I always say, I feel my way through a song, There's a feeling I'm looking for. So I want whatever that chord is to represent that feeling, So I try a bunch. I just try a bunch of chords, man, until I go, oh yeah, that's the one. All the writing I ever do, you know, like, because I like that. And it's something that I feel is missing, you know, in much of what I hear is that thoughtfulness and that sense of harmonic, there are more possibilities harmonically, I feel, than people exercise, you know. They kind of stick to the white keys of the piano, you know. And it's those things that are outside that, you know, like, I mean, I'm way into the white keys of piano, man. That's all I know. Because when you go to F sharp, it's still the white keys of the piano. It's just in F sharp. You know, it looks different on the piano. On the guitar, it looks exactly the same. So just up a half step or whatever, you know. So I feel my way through the songs and find the chord that's okay. That's expressing the feeling that I want here, you know. I call them the moods, you know. Not so much, not the modes. I mean, of course, they're called the modes, but I call them, for me, mood is a better word. And I'll bet you that's the translation. I never thought about this until now. But mode comes from Latin, I'm sure, right? I bet it means mood.
I've heard it called that before, actually, to be fair.
You have?
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to look that up. I'm going to Google that sucker. Thank you. Could you do it now? You have a computer handy? Ah. I never had that thought until this moment. I'll bet it's mood. So, mood. It's a mood. It's a feeling. You're in a feeling, you know? As soon as you play the Phrygian mode, it feels different than the major scale, right? So then I just, okay, this is the mood of this. It's a whole different feeling, you know, Spanish or something, you know. And so that's how I write, is keep the mood. And then, you know, your mood can change, right? So my mood changes here, you know, maybe. But I really, songs, that's the main thing. There's a certain feeling in a song, and you just want to stay in that space, that feeling. So that's the place that I write from. That's the place that I play from. What's this feel like? You know? And there are, all the notes are right there. You have a scale, you have the triads of the scale. Okay, it's the mode. It's the mode that makes things different. You're not playing anything different. You're just, you're choosing the third mood of the major scale. And then you hit the 4 chord. Now, potentially that could take you somewhere else, you know, but you're there, you know, you're in, again, that's where the white keys of the piano for me, you know. Put a G in the root, suddenly you play on a 7th chord, you know. Put a C in the root, major 7. Oh, bright, happy, lovely. E in the root, oh, minor, dark. Same notes, same triads, all the same. That's how I work. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks ever so much for recommending this book, by the way.
Thank
Robben.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm getting through it, actually. I found it very, very helpful, and I'm finding it very, very useful. I'm coming up with some of my own ideas as well. And yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you ever so much for recommending that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I sort of forget about that book, you know, but I mean, for me, it might be the most, you know, like it's the most essential ground zero, you know, thing I've ever presented. That's just very straightforward, blues, chords, you know. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Did we find out about the mode?
No.
Okay. Mode in Latin.
Modus.
Modus? It's mood.
Yeah.
It's mood.
Definitely mood.
That's great. I didn't just make it up.
No, you got it.
Okay. We just started this songwriting aspect of the dojo. I don't know if it's been present, like, is it easy to see? It's there. Yeah, the new songwriting course.
Yeah.
Those are things we can talk about anytime. And boy, has anyone seen it?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it last week. Which song was it again? Sorry, you'll have to remind me.
It's called "Make My Own Weather."
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Really interesting the way you sort of, explaining opposites in the just the words, and going with your feelings about it, and it made it seem so easy.
It is.
Well, it's not. I mean, I suppose it can.
It's not for a while, like I've mentioned this before also. There's a book, a well-known book called Outliers. Can't remember. I can't remember the guy's name, but pretty well-known book, Outliers. Not that I'm recommending anyone to read it, but it presents, this guy has a thesis that it takes 10,000 hours to get good at anything. You have to invest 10,000 hours. And he said, the way most people live and work, they have their lives and they have other shit to do, but they're working on this thing. He said that takes about 10 years.
Yeah.
And my first breakthrough record for me in the songwriting world was Supernatural. And I figured it out, and that was about 10 years after I started really getting into writing songs. But no one had ever told me what I learned in those 10 years, what it took me 10 years to learn. And I can tell you what it was and what it was for me. So basically, we're talking about lyric writing, right? That's really where that's the meat of songwriting. But what it was just having the guts, not afraid to be a fool, just
Totally.
write some stupid shit.
Totally.
But
I love that advice.
but like what I started doing that, of course, a while back, because that's what happens when you first start writing. But what changed everything was when I went, all right, I'm going to actually expose myself here thoroughly, completely, fully. I'm going to be naked in my songwriting. And that made it personal. And when it's personal, at least you're speaking truth,
Yeah.
If nothing else, you're speaking truth.
Yeah.
And that was my breakthrough for the Supernatural album. Is like, it's a very naked, raw album for me, both musically and lyrically. I was talking about absolutely, for the most part, very personal things. And I allowed myself to just be more musical than I had been with the Blue Line, In other words, I like beauty. And I want to hear beautiful things. And so, all right, I'm going to go ahead and, expose that part of myself instead of try to write, hip blues and badass guitar. It's like, okay, well, that's hip blues and badass guitar. But what about this, So again, I gave myself a direction. All right, this is what we're doing now, because that's what you do with the guitar. I want to be a badass guitar player. So you're all about badass guitar. Great. That's how you do it. So, okay, I'm going to be a songwriter, you know. All right, here we go. And that's again, it's primarily on the lyric side, but also musically. Man, I put string quartet on that record. There's no string quartet on the Blue Line, you know, or Talk to Your Daughter, you know. So, okay. And I can tell you something, for what it's worth, there were two artists in particular that I used as kind of my touchstones for songwriting. And one of them was Curtis Mayfield. I mean, he's, you know, very, very simple and very truthful, you know. He says corny things, you know. And then he came up with, you know, Superfly,
Yeah.
yeah, which is not corny.
No.
So, you know, but anyway, that just very truthful, simple. All right, let's just tell it like it is. And the other is something that few people ever, no one ever references, Laura Nyro. Laura Nyro was one of the great songwriters of the 60s. She wrote a lot of hits for other people. And, but there's one album that she did, it's called New York Tendaberry, Tendaberry, New York Tendaberry. Now this is, you know, like I was 16 and I was exposed to this record by a friend of mine and I just wore it out. And I came back to it years later. I'm like, wow, this is why I love that record so much. It's beautiful. It is naked and raw. She says things that don't make sense just to get through it, just to express her feeling, you know. She's not afraid to be a fool. And also a great talent and an insane voice. Laura Nyro. I think Joni Mitchell, you know, was influenced by her. So
That
those are just little.
vulnerability,
Sorry?
that sense of vulnerability is amazing.
Yeah. That's what really, yeah, that's what cracks the egg.
Yeah, yeah. Hard to do.
Only one way to do it.
Yeah, just reveal.
Dive off into the river and you don't know how to swim.
Be human.
But that brings all the, it's now you're working with courage, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you do that.
Well, I mean, it's been the practice.
Yeah.
That's been,
It is a practice.
It's a practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, more guitar, a little more guitar here. What do you think? Johan, tell me. Anything?
I have a question, but more on blues jazz. I heard you play with Time Jumpers, and I think it's blues jazz. It's sitting on the top of the world, and I heard you play too with Bill Frisell on Billy's Bones. I discovered this album. I didn't know, and I don't know if it's your favorite play blues jazz, but I like when you play blues jazz. And how do you think when you play over all these changes, chord changes? It's very fast. And you use a lot of chromatism. And what do you when you play? How do you think these chord changes?
Well, I can tell you, you know, it certainly took years, you know, and I'm playing the same way that everybody does, you know. It's a tradition, you know. It's a tradition, and there are, like Miles Davis said once, he goes, you have to learn a lot of cliches. That's what he said. You have to learn a lot of cliches, you know, because if you listen to traditional jazz players, you know, before things started changing, you know, in the 60s in particular, when people started, you know, like, you know, when the free jazz movement kind of cracked the egg there, Ornette Coleman, it's like, holy shit, what the hell's he doing, you know? And so everybody plays the same things. You know, you can listen to anybody from that period of time. And we're, you know, I say we because I learned that language, you know. So I'm playing cliches for the most part, you know. And you know, I'm a blues player, so all those guys were blues players too, you know. Everybody starts there. And so I didn't have any teachers, you know. I listened and listened and listened and listened, and I found my own way to do it. You know, I just found my own way to do it, because really it's just chord scale. You know, if you have, you know, an altered 5 chord, there's a whole bunch of cliches, you know, that have been played and are recognizable. Problem is, these things go by really quickly, right? In the bebop world, they go by very quickly. So that, I guess, is the hard part. And people have transcribed all those things, you know, and so you can find them in books and Charlie Parker solos. And, you know, I just did what I could, you know, understanding when I say the language, it's just the scale that goes over the chord. That's the language, you know, and a style, which is swing, you know. So that's just about all I can say about it, you know. And I guarantee you everyone else did that too. And I think a lot of people, you know, like if you go to Berkeley School of Music, they can teach you that shit, you know. And you're reading and reading and, you know, like, okay, now I play this phrase here, now I play this phrase there, right? So that's where, you know, things can change, you know, like you do it in your own way, you know, you play less of it.
Are you saying sort of learn the rules and then break them? Is that?
Well, that certainly applies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. First you learn the rules and then you break them.
Yeah.
Man, Sonny Rollins, certainly one of the great masters of that. There's a couple of records that he did live at the Village Vanguard. And these records are like from the 1950s, you know. I think there are 2 of them from the same weekend at the Village Vanguard, or maybe 2 different weekends or something. And it's just drums, bass. It's Elvin Jones on drums, Wilbur Ware on bass, and Sonny. And basically it's a textbook. It is a textbook. You would think that, and he might have written all that shit out. Michael Brecker did that. He wrote it all out, you know? And then it's like, okay, I have all of this stuff to draw upon, you know? But Sonny, I feel, was a very diligent student. You have to be to do that. You really have to be, you have to practice your ass off to be Sonny Rollins, you know? He lived his horn, like Coltrane lived his horn, you know? So, but it's a textbook, all the cliches, the whole thing is just cliches. I don't like listening to it because it's like, right, okay, oh man, there's that, oh yeah, there's that, and that. But that's how he did it. You know, he learned all of it. And then he went, now what do I do with it, you know? Again, sometimes I think I say too much because I'm self-taught, you know? So,
what do you mean? You say too much. What do you mean?
Well, sometimes I feel like I shoot past my mark. It's like I've already said what needed to be said, and then I just keep yakking, you know? I shoot past my mark, so. But I'm like that. Oh man, somebody just joined us and we're finishing up. The gentleman with the beautiful sky.
Background. Yeah. Looks gorgeous.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Has to be Australia? No?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just joined because I couldn't make it earlier. Apologies for that.
That's okay. We're kind of wrapping it up here. But it appears that your name is BEF17F96AR.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah, that's my nickname, man.
You're a real man of the future.
Yeah, I think in the binary world, so it's 0 and 1. So that's my mobile phone, I assume, because
Okay.
I'm dialing in from the south of Spain. So I didn't brought my computer with me, so that's the reason why.
The south of Spain.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm here for holidays, but like a combination with guitars. So yesterday I attended a flamenco guitar festival with Tomatito.
Wow.
That was impressive, man. Yeah, absolutely.
For me, flamenco is the guitar. That is guitar. That's the essence of guitar, man. Paco de Lucia, he's the greatest thing that ever happened, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I absolutely agree. The rhythm part is, for me, the way they clap their hands. It's extremely difficult to grasp if you're not from the south of Spain.
Yeah.
Because that struck me yesterday evening, because it's the first time ever that I attended a very local flamenco festival. That the whole crowd was just clapping in the rhythm of the guitar playing of Tomatito. I couldn't figure it out how they do it. I mean, it's just in their blood, in their veins. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Gospel music. It's the Spanish gospel, you know. Well, okay, guys, I actually have to wrap it up here. I'm sorry that you joined us late, my friend.
No problem. No problem.
There'll be another one. There'll be another one next on the 11th on Sunday.
Oh, thank you.
Then they'll be off for a couple of weeks because of Robben's tour schedule and timing, being able to fit it all in. But it's really cool to see all you guys make it on this one, because we almost canceled it. So
Glad you didn't.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Thank you for showing up. And this particular recording will be we are recording it, and so I'll upload it to the Zoom page so you can watch it. It takes a long time to download and upload, so whenever that happens, hopefully before we leave tomorrow, we're taking
Thank you.
space, but you'll have it so you can review if you like.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robben.
All right, everybody.
Thank you.
See you in a
Thank you
couple of weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Robben. Thank you, Kelly.
Very well.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.